Okay, Factory Farm, June 13. James Slade came down from the Texas Republic again with a tractor. Okay, so update. Yeah, as this tractor comes by here, we're gonna be using it for agriculture and other purposes. So we've got the other one. We've got two here total, and then one we're shipping out to Rosa in Colorado. The whole package of tractor, compressed earth, brick press, and pulverizer. So we're getting ready to do that, and we want to get that. Just look for quotes, shipping quotes today or so. Let's hear what's going on here. Ian.
We just drove up from Texas, Austin last night. We were in Austin this time yesterday.
So what are you guys doing today?
Today we're showing you our lovely tractor and hearing about what your updates are and what's been going on around here at the farm.
Yeah. Okay. So good things happening. James, tell us a little bit how the tractor went, what the experience was with Life Track in Texas.
Well, the overall reception from the Texas community has been overwhelming, if not humbling. Particularly the burner community, because we took it out to Flipside to show it off, thus the art and flame effects that we put on it, because it's part of the event. And yeah, everybody was just absolutely amazed with it, and some people even knew what it was.
Yeah, so actually, I actually heard some feedback from some people, yeah.
Right on. The overall transformation from Prototype 3 to Prototype 4 went fairly well. We learned some things. The tracks are very effective, but they're not going to be long-lasting because just the friction, so we have to come up with a solution for that.
So we got, like, you said, like 70 hours or so on this tractor?
Yeah, at least 70 hours and well beyond 12 miles across gravel roads and fields. And it could be more than that. I just haven't measured them out yet. The quick attach wheels are awesome. Like, they work well. You knock loose the cam, unplug the hoses, pull out 2 bolts, and the whole thing assembly slides off. Takes about 2 people to really maneuver it around effectively, but yeah.
That was useful when? When was it useful? When you were
assembling. I mean, we haven't had any reason to take them back off, but they work well. They fit. I haven't had any slide, no shaft movement. Everything's good. They're very, very solid. We've used it pretty heavily, from loading a lot of gravel to a pallet of CABs, blocks. I've moved at least a ton, close to a ton. No problem. Lots of earth. Plowed a garden with it.
How'd you plow it?
With the bucket. I was able to level a good section out. I was able to play Godzilla and knock down trees with it. It was great.
Can you do, what would be the classic for digging, like if you wanted to do an in-ground cistern, for example? You think that would work?
Not now. Not with...
Bucket too narrow?
Yeah, we can level, but you can't dig down too far because the tracks are wider than the bucket. So your wheels would be above ground. You wouldn't be able to get down into the hole. So we need to narrow. I don't think widening the bucket would be ideal. I think we need to narrow the wheelbase, bring it in to 6 foot. That would make it easier for transportation, loading, and general maneuverability.
And wider bucket that's too much?
I think it's too much because you'd have to have an 8-foot bucket, and that's a lot of material to pick up. I think you could probably do it, but that remained to be seen. Other than that, we added lighting, so you got front and rear and side lighting, all LED, all runs off one battery. You can leave it on all night and still start it the next day. Charging issues have been resolved? Yeah, so Aaron here, who is like super genius on machines, he's rewired everything, solved all the electrical problems. Engines turn off and on when they're supposed to. They recharge. He's wired all the lighting up. Yeah.
So were there problems like actual with the engines having bad parts or
bad wiring?
Just bad wiring.
The stator, the charge wire from the rectifier, the hot wire from the fan, and the hot wire from the fuel solenoid on the bottom of the carb were all tied together. So even though you shut it off, the cooling fan is generating DC current when it's just sitting there running. So the solenoid on the carburetor wouldn't close because it was still energized. So I separated all that in the switch. And so you turn the ignition on, and you have the fan running, but I found an intermittent pole where when you hit start, the fan, like if you go straight to start, the fan won't come on at all. As soon as you let go of the key, the fan runs. So you get power diverted to the starter when you're starting it, and nothing is drawing any current. So sort of isolated some things. I ran the charge wire straight to the battery, and then another wire to power the switch, and then so it's just a matter of isolating the components that pretty much solves the problem.
Okay.
We did have to disconnect the bottom fan because the bottom fan is for a car, which is it pulls more amperage
So you
than
got a smaller one?
We don't have a smaller one in there. We just disconnected it for now, but it pulls more power than the engine produces. So ultimately, it'll just sit there and drain the battery while it's running.
Okay, so we're gonna have to fix that and just get a smaller.
Yeah, I need to get a smaller one.
How much time does it run without overheating on that? Is it can kind of run it?
It gets pretty hot, but I mean, I run it for 12 hours straight.
Without the fan?
Yeah.
Just
We
using
ran
the
it
top
at
fan?
night. It was at night, but
Yeah.
just using the top one. I mean, it get pretty hot. I mean, the hoses would kind of burn your legs a bit, but it wasn't crazy bad. But we definitely need to get a bottom fan in there. Probably bigger tanks.
As long as I mean, a coffee mug can be, it's kind of too hot to hold. If it's hotter than, if you can't hold your hand on it for longer than like 5 seconds, then it's probably too hot. But I don't think we reached like oxidization temperatures for the oil. So.
All right. Are we gonna see any fire coming out of this today, or?
We'll save it for tonight when we can see it a lot better. I might have to go get more fuel. We've been playing with it a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
They're very effective flamethrowers.
Okay.
We also got you a nice safety feature.
Wow, look at that.
You have a fire extinguisher.
Even get a concussion out of the boosh. You can hear a bass thump or whatever. You'd be able to hear it way over there.
Okay, we'll check that out today. Huh. Okay. That's cool. Excellent. So, what's the next step on LifeTrack in general? So you're gonna be building some. We're gonna start using ours in agriculture here once we get our second one, which is sitting there, finished up. But yeah, this one will be used for that.
We're gonna probably, I'm gonna get with Ben again. I think we're gonna try and do a value engineering job off this design, similar to how we just did the CEB. We got to come up with a better solution, probably like the track design I was talking about, getting away from chains and using like flat bar to cut down on friction. Probably do some creature comforts, move the seat around, put bigger controls on. We've got to give it brakes because it's pretty freaky not having brakes. And we might
then
just,
bottom guard or
yeah, we'll put a
front
skid
guard.
plate and side plates and a roof. It's been nice having a roof on it. Knocking down trees and all that debris doesn't fall on your head.
Okay.
One of the other things that pretty much everybody I've talked to, we all feel that having two engines isn't as effective as having one large engine. Like, you know, we all understand the modularity aspect of it being this way, but in our experience thus far, we're not going to pull these off. It's just too much of a pain to pull it off and put it on like next to a power cube. So we're probably just going to go with a diesel engine, you know, like a 65 horse roughly, because I know with Tom's power cubes, each cube is $2,400 in parts, plus his time. I think he's estimating around $4,000 a cube. Well, for $8,000, I could have a 64 horsepower diesel engine with a cube and have more power than two of these put together. So I think we're going to give that a shot and see how it works out. And then if we need to power something external, yeah, you just unplug and plug into whatever you need.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, we see the value in this too. It's just what's working for our current market. Overall, I'm very happy with the performance of the LifeTrack in its current state. Like, we were able to get shit done, and that's a big deal.
You guys gonna have one? So are you gonna try to get one for your construction?
Yeah.
So you're gonna get the CEB press up with the tractor. By when are you hoping for that?
Well, I have our CEB running, so now it's just getting funding for a tractor. You know, I don't even know what the material costs are, but we're gonna We're gonna price out materials. That's the next step.
Yeah,
Just to-
6K without the power cubes.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.